And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Adda. And obviously, you all know why we are here and why we are speaking. And अभी मैं जब भी हेलो बोलता हूँ ना, हेलो एवरीवन, ये किसी ने ये स्पर्श करके एक लड़के ने ट्वीट किया था कुछ पॉडकास्ट में अभी, हे गाइस, आई डोंट नो, ये तुम्हें टोन दिखाना है मुझे आज शो में. हे गाइस इज बिकम द मोस्ट क्लीशे, मोस्ट यूज्ड वेलकम फॉर द. तो अभी मैं हर बार मैं कॉन्शियस हो जाता हूँ कि भाई आई शुड बी वॉचफुल अबाउट इट. एंड however, guys, we wanted to do this. I personally wanted to do this yesterday, but both the sirs were busy because I was buzzing after the test match because I really didn't expect us to win in this series. इन दोनों ने तो 3-2 दे दिया था. मैं, according to me, it was either final or 3-0, 4-0, whatever it was. But it was not just a win; it was a 336-run win with first ever test match in Birmingham, Edgbaston. I think जो हमने thumbnail बनाया था ना, जो ऐसे वाला full ऐसे चकते वाला like ashes वाला feel आ रहा था वो, because he was wearing blazer. So finally Edgbaston में comeback हो गया and we are series level with 1-1. And before we start talking about it, I want to welcome Mr. Sir Nikhil and Mr. Sir Sparsh. How are you guys? One is from Sparsh, where are you now? Jaipur, Hyderabad, Chhattisgarh, Headingley?
No. नहीं, I wish I was in England ना, Lord's Test है, but I'm in Hyderabad.
Lord. How are you, Nikhil? How's everything? Mute पे हो सारा.
हाँ, मैं बोला ये मेरे को करना था, पर ठीक है, I'll do something later. But I'm very happy and content actually. Another great lesson from cricket in the last week. You can never say anything about the sport, and last week was another example where I think the best case scenario played out for India, and I'm happy for that. Let's just put it that way. Okay, you needed somebody. It is amazing, sometimes you write stuff and it happens, and we are not even talking about Siraj. When the toss happened, my first instinct was we need to bat 10 sessions. And India batted exactly 10 sessions in that test match. And I was so pleasantly happy that that number came to mind, that is the way I thought India could win, and for India to eventually go and do that. So hats off to Shubman Gill. I think it will take some time for me personally to get over that now, because I know there are a lot of people with a lot of pointers and questions that, how was the page, swing and all of that. But if it is that easy, more people should be scoring multiple hundreds. Get me one example of a guy scoring 430 in a game, and then we will talk.
Sir, Sparsh, बताओ. तुम तो कितने ट्वीट, हाँ इतने ट्वीट. अरे मैं तो कभी कभार I don't want to watch the match. If I follow you, if I follow Nikhil, and if I follow Bharat sir, कि पता है कि क्या हो रहा है. कि there were times where I was in the session और कुछ ना ट्वीट आ जाता था, oh Siraj field day, so then I know wicket clear. So then I used to go back to the streaming, then check key moments. वैसे देख रहा था. How was the match for you, sir?
क्या बताएं, इंडिया जीत गई, मतलब ऑब्वियसली गुड. निखिल सर ने ऑलरेडी कवर कर दिया यार, मैं क्या बोलूं, वो ऑलरेडी सब कवर कर देते हैं, उसके बाद आप मुझे पूछते हैं, तो मतलब आई एम लेफ्ट विद नथिंग. नहीं, एकदम जबरदस्त मैच था. शुभमन गिल यार, 430 रन्स. देयर वर अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल डाउटिंग कि सेना कंट्री में क्या करेगा शुभमन गिल. लाइक पर्सनली मुझसे कोई पूछे तो आई हैड नो डाउट इन माई माइंड कि इवेंचुअली शुभमन गिल विल कम गुड. आई नो कंडीशंस आर नॉट व्हाट दे वर, बट आई थिंक क्वालिटी है बंदे में. ही इज गोइंग टू, in fact, all those Shubman Gill haters, I think it's going to be a very tough decade for them, because he is going to rule, he is going to score runs all around the globe in each and every format of the game.
Perfect. Let's talk about the game directly. So मुझे पहले, before we dig into this player or 430 and etc., let's talk about the game. कि मुझे तो the first thing for me, when every commentator before the toss एक ही चीज बोल रहे थे, the pitch was looking like a road, and somewhere I saw a rating, I think pitch was somewhere where they have rated the pitch as 3.3 out of 10 or something. So it came across like it was the easiest batting surfaces at Edgbaston. Apparently, it's post 2006. This is the easiest where the batting was so easy. What do you think, Ben Stoke? I think he admitted also. Do you think usne, overconfidence mein toss ka, did ulta palta? Did he miss a bet there, saying he should have gone for batting, or did the Headingley hangover was too high? Sparsh, so that निखिल सर खत्म नहीं करते. चलो बोलो अभी.
अरे क्या बात है. सी आई थिंक इंग्लैंड का सोच क्या होगा. दे हैव बीन डोमिनेंट चेजिंग गेम्स, है ना. तो वो लोग को कुछ भी आप दे दो, दे हैव चेज्ड इट डाउन एवर सिंस ये बेसबॉल आया है. तो उस कॉन्फिडेंस में आई थिंक स्पेशली आफ्टर द लास्ट गेम वेयर दे चेज्ड व्हाट 360 370 इन हेडिंगली, दे वुड हैव थॉट ठीक है हम फिर कर लेंगे. बट एज फार एज आई नो, हिस्टोरिकली अगर देखें तो हेडिंगली इज अ वेन्यू विच कीप्स गेटिंग बेटर फॉर बैटिंग. बट एजबास्टन में ऐसा नहीं होता है. एजबास्टन एज वी सॉ, इट्स अ बिट मोर लाइक द सब कॉन्टिनेंट. थोड़ा ज्यादा पिच वहां पे ब्रेक डाउन होता है, जो कि हुआ भी. तो वहां पे थोड़ा सा आई ऑल्सो वाज थिंकिंग एट द टॉस कि मे बी विन द टॉस एंड बैट फर्स्ट. सॉरी, विन द टॉस एंड बैट फर्स्ट, क्योंकि फोर्थ इनिंग्स में यहाँ पे बैटिंग करना इज नॉट एज इजी एज इट वाज इन हेडिंगली, एटलीस्ट हिस्टोरिकली. बाकी पिच में लाइक ये वाला पिच उतना ब्रेक डाउन हुआ नहीं, बट इट वाज इनफ एट द एंड ऑफ इट कि आप 20 विकेट ले सके. एंड आई थिंक लूजिंग द टॉस इट एंडेड अप एज अ ब्लेसिंग इन डिसगाइज फॉर इंडिया, because they also wanted to bat first, sorry, bowl first, from what Shubman Gill said at the toss.
Sir, so Nikhil, I saw you also had a displeasure in the beginning. Many people did. Even Spurs had commented. So how do you see it to now about the Indian team selection, and how did it work in our favor in terms of the game? For example, I'll say I don't defend it, but having Washington Sundar at number 8, did it help the top order to go little more aggressive?
If this was a T20, I would have said it helped them go aggressive, but it wasn't a T20. And I don't look it any other way. I look at it the same way. I still feel India played a better extra. And then when you say, oh, but they had a partnership with Sundar. But then I don't have a problem playing Sundar. My problem is playing all three of NKR, Sundar and Jadeja. And Jadeja plays. I have wanted Jadeja to bat at 6. If there is even more proof that people need, then this test was the perfect example that from 200 for 5, you were able to come back into the game because Jadeja was batting and he was batting to the team's plan. It is, okay, we'll get to the Jadeja declaration batting and all later in the show because it is hilariously entertaining. But so Jadeja I don't think was a problem. My only bit was you can take 20 wickets, but you will miss services with the old ball. And if anybody who saw the match, if you say you did not miss services with the old ball when you considered over 300 runs to a partnership, which both of those, one guy has had issues facing wrist spin. So I think it was I would say it was a well taken risk that they felt that ये surface deteriorate नहीं होगा, so we'll just bat, and then if it's a draw, we don't care. But the good thing that happened is India ensured that they batted so much that they were able to then do more things with the ball, and I think this is the first time I've seen India outbowl England at home. I can't recall too many such instances जहाँ पे इंडिया के नए बॉल के bowling ने and the game was set up with a new ball in both innings. So I would still have played Kuldeep. It could have been in place of either NKR or Sundar, and they can still do it if you want to. And even if you look at that partnership with Sundar, it was Gill who scored majority of runs, and I trust Kuldeep to hold an end as much as I do with Washington कि वो खड़ा रह सकता है एक एंड पे. मैं ये नहीं बोल रहा हूँ कि कुलदीप 40-50 मार लेगा, ये वो नो लुक शॉट नहीं मारेगा, बट अगर वो खड़ा है तो गिल कैन स्कोर एट द रन एट द अदर एंड. सो again, different people look at it differently. I am fine if you feel the result justifies the selection. I think it was a very risky thing. If this was 200 for 5 and if the umpire's call still went England's way, this match wouldn't have gone the way it did. So but again, if they have won, I have no problem. I'm not saying I'm sulking kyun nahi kiya, but I think this is somewhere we should have that open mind it is okay to have a different opinion and not always be in line with what they have done is always right. Because if you will talk about it later, but India
Correct.
had 400 runs, but they fielded their field positions were like they only have 200 more. You did not see people around the bat for too long. Even with Jamie Smith and Chris Wokes batting, और 400 रन 350 रन है आपके पास तो कब लगाओगे? तो there is always room to improve. So I still look at it the same. We played a batter extra.
Perfect. Last part before we enter the main man, we have to talk about the players. What did you think England missed? I personally, मुझे क्या लगा ना कि हेडिंगली में जो एस्केप हो गए थे वो लोग, ये यहाँ पे एक्सपोज हो गया. फॉर एग्जाम्पल देयर बॉलिंग मेनली, बैटिंग के तो बाद में बात करूंगा. आई थिंक हेडिंगली ओनली, नॉट हेडिंगली, सॉरी, लीड्स में if we had taken our catches, if all those things had gone right, मुझे लगता है कि वहां पे भी एक्सपोज हो जाता. Because England would have been like 100. We spoke about this 100, 200 down. So what do you think is with England's bowling? Mainly batting तो anyway मुझे जब तक ब्रूक्स आया vulnerable तो दिखाई, but I think they lack something with their bowling. There is no they just both the innings I didn't see anything. Like ठीक है एक innings नहीं हुआ, but it can't be because India's bowling और England का bowling लोगे ना आप इधर उधर है, leaving even Prasidh bowled better second innings, to be honestly speaking. So Sparsh, what did you think कि what was missing with England? Batting तो बाद में बात करेंगे, but what do you think about the bowling?
See, for England's bowling to work, if you have a look at all their bowlers, pretty much none of them they bowl with an upright seam these days. उसका क्या मतलब है? They are reliant on the pitch for movement of the seam. Wobble ball का वही होता है कि वो पढ़ने के बाद या तो अंदर होता है बाहर होता है. There is that uncertainty about the wobble. लेकिन अब क्या हो रहा है in England, because of the conditions this time, क्योंकि dry summer है and all of that, they are not able to retain moisture in the wicket. है ना? लॉर्ड्स में अगर आपने अभी विजुअल्स देखे होंगे तो वहां पे पानी डाल रहे हैं वो लोग विकेट पे ताकि पिच के अंदर मॉइस्चर रहे, which will in turn help the bowlers get movement off the seam. अगर आप क्रिस वोक्स की बात करेंगे, who is their lead seamer, he is not rapid, he is not a express pacer, in fact pace कमी हुआ है. He is not someone who hits the deck hard, he is not someone who hits the seam hard, unlike someone like an Akashdeep, जो we'll talk about him later. But I think for this England bowling attack to kind of be at their best, they need that moisture in the wicket, especially the one which played right now, Chris Wokes. है ना? Bryden Carstfield भी थोड़ा he's a more into the wicket bowler, but overall because they bowl the wobble ball so much, they need moisture in the wicket जो कि यहाँ पे मिला नहीं, and that is where I feel कि उनका थोड़ा गड़बड़ हो गया. And secondly, like you talked about it ना, ifs and buts, अगर इंडिया वहां पे कैच ले लेता तो इंडिया हेडिंगली जीत जाता. यहाँ पे अगर as Nikhil sir said, अगर first session में first morning Chris Wokes had very very close umpires calls जो कि इंडिया survived. If that went against India, India might have lost the game. So I think luck is an aspect of the game which is less discussed, but it is very 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 important. And I think it won't be wrong to say that India were unlucky in Headingley and they were a bit lucky in this test. And that's where I think that also can be a big difference. Because luck, in my opinion, is something which is massive in this game.
लक की बात जो आ गई सर निखिल, let us talk about the main man, Shubman Gill. I don't think he was lucky. I think it was pure class batting, especially the first innings. And the amount of, I think someone had put up a stat also, I think Sparsh or others also I saw, there was no luck involved. I don't remember he getting multiple chances. 430 runs in a match. And especially leading the team after a loss in Leeds. तो what do you, क्या बोलना चाहते हो आप? कितना बोलोगे? कम बोलोगे? ज्यादा बोलोगे? या ठीक है बच्चा है, सीरीज के बाद में बोलेंगे?
वो तो वैसे भी बोलेंगे अपन किधर जा रहे, बट ये मेरे बेटी का है, बट आई यूज इट फॉर गिल. मतलब एक नंबर है. मतलब see, it's very rare. Yeah, I can't emphasize on the fact that how much in control Gill looked for the entirety of the test, and that is something which is why I said it will stay with me for a long time. We've seen a lot of people play big knocks, and a lot of people bat for a long period of time. But with Gill, and you could see England are bowling well to him. They have corrected their lengths. They are bowling a lot more straighter to him. They are wanting that he misses the clip and he's out. But he did not. And he did not do it for the entirety of a test match, scoring 430. I mean, people are not making this many runs in an innings जितना ये बंदे ने एक गेम में बना दिया भाई. So I think it was as good as it can get. I was impressed by two things. One, he did not let a start go. Okay, we saw what happened in the first test. Okay, 140 पे आ गया, and then you were like, एक risky shot extra. He did not do that this time. और अगर वो गया तो he went full Monte कि नहीं, no half measures, no half-hearted shots. I will go all the way, and he got a very big double turn. Second innings, he looked even more in control. कि नहीं, मैं out ही नहीं हो रहा है भाई, क्या करना है तुमको? तुमको जो डालना डालो, मैं out नहीं हो रहा है. So we can put all the caveats that we want to, and I'm sure plenty of people, plenty into 100 more people will be waiting for one ball from Archer or Atkinson or Vokes to come in suddenly and get him on the patch and see he got out. So I think that is also something that I hope doesn't happen too much, because you only score double tens and big runs when it is still possible to score them. You cannot score double tens and 100 runs when it's a green mama, when the ball is doing so much. So थोड़ा objective भी होना चाहिए. But personally, very, very satisfying for Shubman Gill, because, and I wouldn't say it was due and all of that. We all knew he would score, but everybody needs that one series where everybody just be like, okay, abhi we will not talk. Abhi now let his bat do the talking. So I think this is a series that Gill needs, and he's not done. And I genuinely hope he's not done, because there is still a lot to do. And only then all of this makes a lot more importance, because इसके पहले जो भी नंबर थे ना, ये सीरीज है, सब नंबर बेटर कर लो and then keep doing it आगे भी.
Sparsh, you want to add? या खत्म? निखिल ने सब बोल दिया.
सब बोल ही देते हैं अब तो, इतना बोल, मतलब he's such detailed with his analysis and insights. But I think
तुमने तो प्रेडिक्ट किया था ना 40% होगा, वो तो सेकंड मैच में आगे चला गया है. Average, I think, for this series.
Correct. I had this chat with you only, na, कि I expect him to have a 40 average series. एक match में he scored 430. So I mean, I can't be any happier, because I've been a big Shubman Gill fan advocate since a long time, and I call him the master of control percentages, because each time he bats, no matter in what format, we saw it in the IPL as well. He was scoring runs at 150, 160 without breaking a sweat, and we saw it in this test also. एकदम आराम से autopilot mode पे चलता है बंदा. And बाकी तो निखिल सर बोल ही दिए, अब क्या ही बोलूंगा.
So since निखिल सर ने बोल ही दिया, तो let's talk about the second main man, Mr. Akashdeep. Right? See, we discussed this last time. Right? Bowlers है तो test match है. For me, I get the buzz around cricket, batsmen, all these jazz and all.
Sorry. But just that. Bowlers who can bat है तो test match.
2025 में, हाँ.
So let's talk about Akashdeep before we go to other players and all. Took 10 wickets in the match, 4 wickets in first innings, 6 wickets in second. Ball of the test match was also by him. That ball to Joe Root and that angle. And I just feel he just didn't make us feel like we missed Bumrah. Sparsh, tum bolo.
Akashdeep, I remember I did this interview with Himanish, right? He talked about Akashdeep and his attributes in that interview. He has a very high vertical velocity. अब vertical velocity क्या होता है? बॉल ऐसे घूम के सामने गिरता है ना, तो जब वो गिरता है बॉल, the ball is hitting the seam harder. अब उससे क्या होता है? He gets more seam movement, and we saw it throughout the test. I think in comparison to all other bowlers, Akashdeep got the highest seam movement. Even with the old ball, थोड़ा बहुत seam उसको मिल रहा था, because he hits the seam hard. तो एक तो वो हो गया. Second, he has a very high percentage of balls in the good length. अब इस मैच के पहले there was one, I think, concern कह लो या जो भी कह लो, कि his length is more of a subcontinent length, जहाँ पे he is slightly shorter. Many of us had thought कि he has that Mohammad Shami kind of an issue, where he needs to go an inch fuller to get that wicket. नहीं तो वो edge beat होता रहेगा, लेकिन वो edge आएगा नहीं. And I think he did that in this test. हल्का सा फुल गया, वी सॉ इट इन द डिसमिसल्स. जो रूट का फुल बॉल था, इनफैक्ट ऑली पोप्स बॉल वाज अ वेरी सिमिलर बॉल इन द फर्स्ट इनिंग्स, बट वो एज ले लिया, वो स्टंप शैटर नहीं किया, सो दैट्स व्हाई इट फेल्ट कि जो रूट का बॉल इज मच बेटर बॉल. बट both of them were very similar balls, those balls which seemed back into Harry Brook in both innings. So fantastic performer, and I personally did not expect Akashdeep to do this well, and I can't be any happier because if you look at the Lord's Test, you suddenly have Akashdeep, Bumrah. अगर सिराज खेलता है तो सिराज आई थिंक खेलेगा ही, बिकॉज वर्कलोड मैनेजमेंट तो सिर्फ बुमराह के लिए होता है, सिराज के लिए होता नहीं है इंडियन टीम में, अनफॉर्चुनेटली. दैट सडनली इज अ सॉलिड बॉलिंग अटैक, एंड आई कांट बी एनी हैप्पियर.
I think why don't we just directly do a episode जहाँ GG का ले लो, सब हर चीज indirectly it's always around Mr. GG who
नहीं
smiled at least.
actually
No, sorry.
to be
I think it's important to acknowledge and credit also that this is not about GG. This is not about any coach in particular. This is just about
right.
how the system has taken care of, I feel, at times a lot more of batters as compared to the bowlers. So I think उसके separate show करना चाहिए जहाँ पे हम जीजी के नहीं और किसी भी player या coach का नहीं हम बात कर रहे हैं, but it's about how, अगर डीपी जाना है, how cricket in general treats bowlers as inferiors as compared to batters who are like, अरे sir, please sir, sit sir, please sir, have sir, ये sir. ये batters के साथ ही, you can see that in the rules, you can see that how the game is played, and you can see how posters maybe you put batters, which is why this place is also special because you had bowlers. So
Correct.
Makes a difference.
And also सिराज के साथ it's not only under गौतम गंभीर, पुराने मैनेजमेंट से चल रहा है कि वो बेचारे को घोड़े टाइप दौड़ाए जा रहे हैं, कोई भी सीरीज हो, कोई भी फॉर्मेट हो, ही इज bowling and we saw the after effect in Australia. पहले एक दो मैच में अच्छा डाला, and then towards the end of the series पेस गिर गया, है ना, and overall he did not look as incisive as he did in the Perth test, and as a result overs 1 to 10 में until this game he did not have a single wicket. So you have to manage these guys well, especially fast bowlers. अब सिराज को ये लोग करते नहीं है, बुमराह को करते हैं, बुमराह को तो करना ही चाहिए, बट सिराज इज योर सेकंड सीमर आज के डेट में. आप उसको हर जगह खिलाते हो, हर मैच खिलाते हो, इवेंचुअली इट टेक्स अ टोल, एंड वी हैव सीन दिस डायरेक्ट कोरिलेशन विद सिराज डूइंग वेल इज हिज पेस. डेटा ने ये कंफर्म करता है, अगर उसका पेस 135 के ऊपर रहता है, सिराज इज मच बेटर. सो आई थिंक इंडिया दे नीड टू केयरफुली मैनेज मोहम्मद सिराज एज वेल, विद बुमराह.
Of course, I agree, because I think somewhere what Nikhil also stressed, saying when it comes to only injury, we wait till the injury happens to do all this workload management. We wait till a person goes through a surgery multiple times. So somewhere that itself is, and also I feel it's also, मैंने ये देखा है, it's not that much in football, hierarchy पे depend होता है. Can I take a break or not take a break? Like how I feel, because Sparsh has said it, it just makes me think कि बुमराह के लिए if it's allowed, like Ravi Shastri was very upset saying 7 दिन तो break मिल गया, first win Edgbaston, then Lords देख लेते हैं, why Bumrah is the best bowler, why is not, so why Siraj is not considered to be given a one test break, which puts also. But however, how we spoke so much about India, I think since we are talking about players, baseball, many people, when they lost, I think 5 wickets, people started questioning it कि यही होता है baseball, either it clicks or it doesn't click. However, we have to speak about Harry Brooks and Jamie Smith. I think somewhere they actually showed what baseball can do and how it works. And Nikhil, what do you think? Because anyways, it was never realistic to chase that target which we gave. But then when they lost around 80 for 5, from there to pile up 200 runs, and the way they piled up, and I love the lad Jamie Smith. Bhai Sab, I am going to talk about him in the later, but that man, there is something that, like, there are few players I see in England, Australia, they have something where वैभव में भी देखता हूं मैं कि डर ही नहीं है कि फेल हो गया तो वो डर ही नहीं दिखता है. So what did you think about Brook and Jamie Smith?
It's a very actually interesting topic. I think baseball in itself deserves more than a few hour ka session, because I think it's a very missold and misunderstood concept. And इसमें I will not blame England के players. मतलब थोड़ा blame उनको मैं दूंगा because of the way that they speak. It hides the good things that they are doing. Because in no other world would you pick Jamie Smith over a keeper that is already existing in the system, someone like a Fox or whoever they've tried before this. It is because you want to bat, and you want to bat freely, and you want to bat people to bat in their best possible way, is why you are picking Jamie Smith. And Jamie Smith bhi seekhega. It's a very good example in the same game where I think in the first inning itself, Jamie Smith was hitting sixes. And then I think he mishit one and the ball went to leg gully and leg slip. And that's when the commentators began to wonder, okay, now this is when you have to wonder whether you need the third six or not. And this is something that I find incredibly frustrating with the commentary. Okay, everything is always hindsight driven in terms of after UFC. Till the point it is happening, you are enjoying. But the moment it fails, you're like, oh, is it needed? But then that is difficult for everybody. It is the same thing for every single batter on every single shot that they play. So I think with baseball, I'll credit to them, at least to me, they have got their batting plans sorted. There are a few things, there are a few places where you feel, do you think Oli Pope is the best number 3? I don't know. How do you deal with Zach Crawley? I don't know. But then if you put a Zach Crawley, I'll put a Jamie Smith. Ye nahi chala. Ye dekho, ye chal gaya. So it is something they will also have to learn. And sometimes I feel England, jo baat Rob Keane kahi thi before the series, sometimes England players just need to not do media interactions, because they end up saying things that we all catch because we are like, "Arey bhai, kya bol raha hai?" So I think that is something that I hope that they don't do. Baki in terms of batting talent, it is very funny to say that when you said that pitch ka rating 3 ka hai, but England hardly batted 170 overs. So it makes you wonder, and it also tells you how much new ball bowling is very important, especially on such kind of decks where you could be so far behind in the game, even a 303 run stand. I mean, if you tell anybody, they had a 303 run stand, but they still lost by 330, people will be like, "Hey, bhai, kya baat kar raha hai, bhai?" And then you say, "Us inning mein actually 6 और duck hai." It is, you cannot explain. This is cricket in 2025. There's some things you cannot just explain. It is grey, and I hope people accept that part of cricket as well, because I very often see that people are just या तो black या तो white. नहीं होगा भाई possible. वो हम सब के लिए भी lesson ला है, and we are all still learning about it. So I think England baseball, they just need root to score bigger runs. Once that happens, I think they will be fine. And just to answer what I think Spurs touched upon it in the first part about the toss, I would not blame the toss, because I don't think anybody could predict that this is how the deck would be here. And that is a general concern that is there everywhere. They back themselves to chase a score. And when do you chase a score? When the deck is good. You cannot tell me that the deck is going to deteriorate, but still we will back ourselves to score 250. So nahi, they are wanting to chase scores because they feel कि हम pressure डालेंगे third innings में, target कम रहेगा, and then we'll do what we did in Leeds. 350 हमारा भाई एक दिन. So there is definitely enough merit in it, but like everything in cricket, it needs a bit more fine tuning.
Since he spoke about fine tuning, let's talk about before we head to the Lords, the place where apparently khana acha milta hai DK ke hisab se. So I was seeing. So my point is, Sparsh, what was your key moment? There may be multiple. Can be like, for example, it can be the declaration we did, or the innings between Pant and Gill second innings, ya phir Jadeja stand in the first innings when we lost 5 wickets, or even Akash Deep's that double wicket he took, Duckett and Pope. So what was your key moment in the match, which you think, which obviously among so many I mentioned, एक तो बोल सकते हो कि आपको लगा कि भाई नहीं अभी palat raha hai, or this now, or we are in the game more than we are in the game?
Actually, it's a very straightforward answer, but I'll come to that later. Before that, I just want to pivot back to Jamie Smith, because I was reading about Jamie Smith कि there was this one shot जो उसने सीधा मारा था जडेजा को सामने निकल के, which was in discussion a lot. People were like, क्या बैटर है. I was looking up his story, and by the way, Jamie Smith does not even keep wickets for Surrey. He's a specialist number 4 batter in their English first class system. So there definitely is potential. But Jamie Smith का जो coach था, when I think Jamie Smith was 8-9 years old, it was Matt Holmes. Now this Matt Holmes guy, when he was in his जब 70s 80s की बात है, he actually used to work for a photography agency where he used to edit cricket pictures. उसके बाद क्या हुआ, आई थिंक जो भी कंपनी में काम करता था वो कंपनी बंद हो गई, समवन बॉट इट, व्हाटएवर हैपेंड, देन ही ओपनड अ क्रिकेट एकेडमी. और व्हेन ही ओपनड अ क्रिकेट एकेडमी दैट वाज नेम्ड द इन टच क्रिकेट एकेडमी, आई वाज रीडिंग दैट जेमी स्मिथ टिल डेट ऑन हिज बैट स्टिकर पे ना वो एकेडमी का एक लोगो है छोटा सा कहीं पे. मैं आई वाज सर्चिंग फॉर इट बट मुझे मिला नहीं वो फोटो, बट दिस इज वेरी फैसिनेटिंग. So when he in 2008, when Jamie Smith was 8 years old, his father, his name was Lawrence, he texted this guy Matt Holmes, and he said कि my son is actually very keen in cricket, and that's when they agreed कि ठीक है इसको coaching भेजेंगे. And every Saturday at 7 a.m. his father used to drive Jamie Smith to the facility और वहां पे coaching होता था. Many times Saturday morning 7 a.m. कौन आएगा यार, है ना? तो usually it used to be empty, and it was then when Jamie Smith, he was I think 8, 9, 10 years old, जब से वो ना sweep shot, reverse sweep shot, he was playing all these shots, and that is when he was actually dancing down the track and hitting big sixes as well. And that's why his coach, he gave this statement also, the world was surprised looking at what he did, but it was no कुछ नया नहीं था उसके लिए. This is something he has been doing since his childhood, and in fact इतना potential है वो बंदे में. He played for Surrey at the under 9 level, और उसके 2-3 साल बाद when he was 12 years old, he played with Tom Curran for Surrey at the under 17 level when this guy was 12 years old. So that just speaks volumes about this guy's potential. Just coming back to the question you asked, key moments के बारे में, तो new ball bowling यार, it's very straightforward. Akashdeep, Siraj, the way they bowled, and उसमें भी if I zoom in, first innings में I think there was a lot of chatter about Siraj being unlucky in Headingley. उसमें जो आई थिंक डे 3 था फर्स्ट सेशन, जो रूट आउट हुआ, strangle down leg, very unlucky dismissal for Joe Root, but I don't mind it at all. After all the unluckiness that Siraj had in Headingley, I totally will accept that dismissal, and I think that was a big moment in the game. क्योंकि अगर Joe Root first innings में लंबा स्कोर बनाता, it could have been a different story altogether. But overall, high level पे, the new ball bowling is something which was a clear differentiator between both the sides.
सर आप सो गए, हाँ खो गए, हाँ
अरे
मैट होम
हो गए. अरे because I read this and I find it really fascinating. I hope this keeps happening with many people, that we start to hear a lot more about the person behind the players, because I think sometimes we just don't have any empathy for players and we are like, okay, just look at the players, but it is what they do offline that often dictates what they do on the field. So lovely that story, of course, read. But मेरे लिए 2 मोमेंट थे, वन ईच इन टर्म्स ऑफ जहां मुझे लगा कि अब ये गेम सेफ लग रहा है मेरे को, कि यहाँ से इट विल टेक समथिंग एब्सोल्युटली इवन फॉर 2025 बहुत ज्यादा जय माता दी लगेगा. तो दैट मोमेंट फॉर मी वाज द पार्टनरशिप ब्रेकर, कि व्हेन आकाशदीप गॉट ब्रोक आउट, और लगा कि हाँ अभी, क्योंकि यार यू कैन समटाइम्स फील के भाई 300 बना लिया ना, तो यार यहाँ से तो और 150 नहीं बनना चाहिए. And when they collapsed, 5 for 20 is what they collapsed for. So that 5 for 20 collapse is when I felt ke abhi se, because you have a 180 run lead, and how much ever the weather and everything plays a part, I for once knew for sure that they are not going to declare before 500 or at least day 40. So that is the moment where I felt ke haan chalo 5 for, once they took the lead, I was like, take it, done. But I feel the bigger moment for me in the overall game, for India to stay in the game, was the inside edge that Gill got when England reviewed. Because that was very early in the innings, and had Gill gone early, I don't think we would have had the result that we did. So, Gill ka LFW, that went which an inside edge, and then of course the 5 for 20 collapse that England had in the first innings.
Perfect. I didn't expect. मुझे लगा कि you will speak about the जडेजा बोल रहा हूँ, ऋषभ पंत और हमारा
जडेजा के बिना कोई वीडियो खत्म नहीं होता.
For me, I also feel the day 5 में बारिश के बाद when Akash got this क्या बोलते हैं Brook, that ball where, and also the catch by Siraj जो चिपका है ना वो ball. So I feel there were so many moments in this game where you didn't be like every innings, first innings of both, second innings of both, India were creating moments, and they were there, and it was very nice to see the energy, the change in energy and all. Now, since before we head into Lords, so let's talk about Jadeja, right? Jadeja का bowling तो मैं थोड़ा disappoint था, but मैं quickly एक बोल रहा हूँ कि मैं पढ़ा कहीं पे पहले. First, let's talk about his stand with Gill at 211 for 5, and where we built a very credible and ended the day with the partnership. Second, also one more thing I read where was, I think Washington took the wicket of Stokes, and that's when it was lunch or tea, and Jadeja finished his over within 8 minutes, which gave Sundar a chance to bowl that extra over, which eventually got a wicket in Stokes. So, Nikhil sir, bolo aap Jadeja. And I think number 6 पे काम हो गया उसका. I think सही है.
I mean, they sent him at the wrong time at number 6, to be very honest with you. मतलब जब first innings में I think he is better. Any inning I feel Jadeja is better served at 6, because you can clearly see he's far more comfortable and at ease when he's batting with the batter at the other end. So I think इससे ज़्यादा evident अब तो match हो गया, तो we have seen that. And why I wanted to talk about Jadeja, and I agree with you, I think his bowling, it's very weird how I feel sometimes even after spending so much time in cricket, I sometimes feel Jadeja has still to be told कि धीरे डाल या round the wicket आता. क्योंकि I for once, I mean, I did not have a problem with his batting in declaration. I had more problem why he was bowling round the wicket to Josh Dunn. Why he's a number 10? Why are you bowling outside leg to a number 10 too? Why you have so many 300 plus wickets in your test career? To आना over the wicket and trust yourself कि भाई मैं ये अराउंड ये एंगल से सीधा एलबीडब्ल्यू को गेम में रखूंगा, तो यहाँ से आउटसाइड लेग क्यों जॉश टंग आउट करेगा? बट अगेन दैट इज समथिंग ओनली सर जडेजा कैन डू. बट आई थिंक हिज बैटिंग कंट्रीब्यूशन इज समथिंग दैट आई होप India is able to use, because while I understand the concerns around his bowling, I think his batting still adds a lot of value, which we saw in the first test. But just to put it out there in the market, in the second innings, he was batting to a plan. And if anybody forgot, he was batting with the captain of the Indian cricket team. So if they ever felt that they needed runs, they needed quick runs, तो गिल सामने ही खड़ा था, and we have heard enough of stump mics. हम सुन लेते कि जड्डू मार, but we did not hear, which clearly meant that they were batting to a plan. And it was, I found it very, I don't know, annoying or frustrating or hilarious कि whenever Jadeja bats, it is incredibly high BP raising for people online कि ये क्या कर रहा है, which I completely get, because I know how it feels when he's wearing yellow, कि when I want him to play a big shot and all he does is, puts his front pad आगे and ऐसा dab to point, अरे point के अबे नीचे आके 6 मारना, तो क्या point पे इधर dab कर रहा है. So I get the frustration, but I think that is something that I hope people realize कि he was batting to a plan, because you saw that post tee first ball after tee he came out and hit a 6. So it was there. I sometimes just feel we judge a lot of people through their perceptions. जडेजा का परसेप्शन ही ऐसा है कि वो स्लो बैटिंग करेगा, धीरे करेगा, टीम को हेल्प नहीं करेगा. People actually wrote to me, he's playing a net negative now. अरे क्या net negative now? How is that a net negative now? He's batting for your side. And if you feel कि next day rain आएगा, I understand that logic. कि ठीक है, बारिश है, but you can't control ना. Even if you take 5 wickets today and it rains tomorrow, what will you do? The point that India were trying to make is India did not want England to even think of a win. And it is crucial. It is how Test cricket has been played over the years. तो वो बस मेरे को बाहर निकलने का था कि हाँ, अगली बार जब वो बैट ना करे तो प्लीज गो अहेड एट जडेजा. मेरा कुछ ऐसा पर्सनल उल्टा इट इज लव हेट रिलेशनशिप विद जडेजा, बट इस केस में आई वुड नॉट ब्लेम जडेजा, एटलीस्ट विद द बैट.
परफेक्ट, ग्रेट. बिफोर लास्ट में मैं हॉट टेक्स के बारे में लास्ट में आएगा. Let's talk about the next game quickly before we end the stream. Sir, finally, This is the only, see मेरे में बहुत सारा टू डू लिस्ट है ना लाइफ में, सबके होते हैं कि इधर करने का, ये करने का, वो करने का. सो मेरा फ्यू, वन इज एनफील्ड में लिवरपूल का मैच देखना है, देन एमसीजी में क्रिकेट देखना है, one another is test match in Lords, right? Whatever the build up is all about, correct? So let's start with Lords, and there are 2-3 questions which they have posted also there, suggesting what will the lineup be, what will this. तो आपको क्या लगता है कि लॉर्ड्स में क्या होने वाला है? आई फील बुमराह विल प्ले इंस्टेड ऑफ प्रसिद्ध, बट स्पर्श बोल रहा है कि सिराज खेलेगा या प्रसिद्ध खेलेगा, पता नहीं. बट आई थिंक इट्स अ स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड स्वैप फॉर मी. He bowled really well second innings, but I think somewhere I have a problem with someone who doesn't learn faster, and especially at that level, especially that over for Jamie Smith, I just don't get it. कि because वो तुम try कर रहे हो और तुम नहीं कर पा रहे हो, how long will you take to understand it at that level of, I'm not saying गली क्रिकेट में या हमारे गली में जो या ग्राउंड में, एरिया के ग्राउंड में जब खेलते हैं वो अलग है कि ठीक है, the trade off बहुत कम है. In a test match in over 23 runs, I think that man was, I understand there was a plan, but execution, like I think Sparsh also pointed it and I quoted him saying, I am all in for the plan, but execution नहीं हो रहा है, implementation नहीं हो रहा है. By the end of the day वही है ना. So are you going to see let's straight away I'll ask Nikhil ki, are you going to see any changes in the lineup? If it is, what do you think? And taking it forward from Nikhil to Mr. Sparsh, you still think Kuldeep Yadav will play or he will not play? Chalo.
Neta, I'll let Sparsh answer this because I've spoken a lot in the last 5-10 minutes. So please, Sir Sparsh.
Sir, हाँ बुरा मान मत. चलो, हाँ बोलो. Whichever you want to.
See, Kuldeep Yadav, it suddenly becomes a bit interesting क्योंकि the visuals at Lords कि पानी डाल रहे हैं, or the statements coming from Brendan McCullum and the English team is that they somehow want more movement of the wicket. और अगर वो रहता है Lords पे, then do you go towards Kuldeep? Do you not go towards Kuldeep? Then I just hope it does not end up being like 2018 where you play Kuldeep Yadav when you shouldn't have played Kuldeep Yadav, है ना? And जब उसको खिलाना चाहिए तब आप नहीं खिलाते हो. So I hope that does not happen. But at the same time, I was looking at the weather forecast and I saw that it is going to be dry, it is going to be sunny, it is going to be hot. So I personally, I'm not too sure कि अगर वो लोग चलो पानी डाल भी रहे हैं, तो beyond the first innings, going later into the test, कितना moisture retain कर पाएंगे वो लोग, है ना? तो I am not too sure which way they will go. I think the safer way is maybe they might just retain the same team क्योंकि अभी क्या बोलते हैं मैच जीत के आए, obviously बुमराह अंदर आएगा. बुमराह can come in I think for प्रसिद्ध कृष्णा. अगर सिराज को रेस्ट देना चाहते हैं तो बुमराह can come in for सिराज. Otherwise you can play बुमराह, सिराज, आकाशदीप, all three of them. So it's interesting what they will do with the bowling attack. I honestly am not too sure. Batting में I think there was some question, हाँ this one, कि करुण नायर with अभिमन्यु. I'm not too sure. I think करुण नायर को भी खिलाया है, although he hasn't set the stage on fire. शायद और खिला दें, और अगर नहीं भी खिलाएंगे तो I don't think they will go towards अभिमन्यु, they will go towards साई सुदर्शन. This is what I feel. But हाँ, it's interesting कुलदीप यादव के साथ क्या होगा अभी, because I'm not saying कि he cannot bowl on a wicket जहाँ पे थोड़ा moisture है, क्योंकि हम देखते हैं कि moisture also helps spinners sometimes. We saw it I think in Melbourne where Ashwin got that wicket of क्या Steve Smith का था 2021 में शायद, if I'm right. So moisture it does help spinners also, but I am not too sure. I think toss will be a big factor over here क्योंकि अगर ये लोग पानी डाल रहे हैं तो first innings में there will be more movement, but as I said, because of the weather conditions and the general dry summer these days, वो moisture कितना retain होगा, and I feel the pitch will become better to bat on in the second innings. So I think अभी तक क्या हुआ है, win the toss, ball first. Last match में भी हुआ, but it went against England. But this time I think you have to win the toss and actually bowl first. I haven't looked at the historical data, past records, अभी तक मैंने कुछ देखा नहीं है. But from the visuals and from what we are hearing, this is what I kind of make of the entire situation.
Nikhil, you want to add anything, or first then I'll just add a question for that for there only कि Anyways, I spoke about bowling. Do you see, personally, I don't see any change in any other. I just see only Bumrah changing. Max, personally, I want Kuldeep to play. It can be either instead of NKR, or Washington. That's up to them. Because I want 5 proper bowlers, because Sundar took the wicket, but then he also didn't look convincing for me. Prasitha is anyway facing issues. So what batting, I don't see any changes. What do you think, that if there is any change, how are we planning to approach? Simultaneously, England से भी noises are coming कि Archer आएगा वापस, Overton आएगा. So what do you think? Will they prepare another subcontinent pitch again, or will they go with the England kind of a pitch?
Both will know after the result only, because only then we'll know. Okay, because only then we get to know okay, pitch was responsible or India was responsible. But 11, as you said, I expect only one change. Straight swap for me. Prasid goes out, Siraj comes in, and Siraj's workload, I think, will be managed now because he's not part of the other 2 teams. So there is enough time for Siraj to rest. And even after this match, I think this is not the match to rest anybody in terms of workload, because even in the last innings, Siraj bowled less than Prasid and Akashdeep. And even in the first test, when India had the option, they did not bowl both Siraj and Bumrah. So they are clearly working on Siraj's workload also. It may not be as mainstream, but I think that is something being done. This game, I would not want them to. This is your best chance to get a lead. You cannot get a better chance than this, because if you're coming to Lord's 1-1, I don't think anybody saw this coming, especially after the 11 that India picked. So I think make the most of it. I hope Shubman Gill wins the toss and he bowls, because for the conditions, but I'll not be sad or surprised, because Lords I don't mind first batting. Because again, it is about that percentage of cricket. You see of that first 2 sessions, it is going to 100% get better to bat only. So, but when you bowl, sometimes you can then have too much pressure on your bowling. Yeah, we've bowled first, and then sometimes you lose the line, slope it, right bowler, right tension. Too many things can then go wrong. So I just hope whatever happens, India back themselves, because they've come out of positions and they've done well. So I just hope they do well. So that is on that. And batting here, I think it's too early to change anything in batting. You've already swapped your number 3 once. I don't think you can go into 3 test matches having 3 different number 3s. So Wo will not change. The one change that I want in batting order is Jadeja at 6, NKR at 7. Ensures Jadeja doesn't have to think about batting with the tail, and NKR gets a bit more freedom. Okay, because you have to realize when you put a younger people in a spot higher, they start to feel the more pressure. I'm a number 6, I have to bat and I have to. You are putting undue pressure on yourself. When he is at 7, there is lesser pressure. So it might just free himself up. Ab mere expectation thodi kam hai. I'll go out there and then just play my game. So I hope that is the case, because if Lords mein moisture hai, jo bhi hai, NKR can also use it, and he'll give you control. So I just hope that India don't reverse back to Sai or Sadul just as of now. Back Karun also, give them games and then take a call.
England.
और England का आपने पूछा, तो I feel 2 changes are eminent in terms of Archer and Atkinson coming back. There is a lot of doubt about how match fit they are, because Archer has bowled 18 overs in the last 4 years in first class cricket. We don't know how it will go. And Atkinson is coming off a hamstring rehab, which happened in May. So he's also not had enough cricket beyond him, which is why I feel it is even more important for India to again bat for 150 overs. I cannot emphasize this enough. And people don't at times get it, but it is important in a long series to bat long, to make the bowlers tired, to have the fielders drained when they are batting, because then that is when that half hour, 1 hour works, because they are tired mentally. So you will have to do that, because, and I don't think, and that reason is why I don't think Chris Woakes should be dropped. By uska average 12 ka bowling average Lords pe. So it's there for a reason. 3 5 or 8 10 wicket haul uska wahan pe. So I think Chris Woakes, and it could also be a litmus test. If not here, done. That is also something that can happen with Chris Brooks. So for him, I hope he takes wickets, but not too many, so that India को मेरे को bother में नहीं डालना. But yeah, so those two things only. Batting, I don't think England will change anything.
So what's your prediction, Sparsh? Sarmat Thila, bolo.
Prediction in terms of match result?
Yes sir. नहीं tomorrow weather report
Prediction
क्या होगा
मतलब
इंडिया का?
हाँ, ये कल कौन सा कपड़ा पहनेगा, मैं बेल्ट का चेंज कब करेगा,
जेमी स्मिथ को कौन खरीदेगा आईपीएल में?
That's a good one. RCB. Prediction. This is tough. I mean, with Bumrah coming back, I think I'll say India.
निखिल सर?
नहीं भाई, 3-2 का 2 अभी करने का भाई. There is no. At least 2 तो हो जाए. उसके बाद 3 हो रहा है कि नहीं हो रहा है, वो बाद में टेंशन लेगा. Because
so
I
the
personally
question,
feel this is India's best chance. If India lose Lords, I feel it might be a bit difficult. See, they can still go on and win, but pressure बहुत ज़्यादा हो जाएगा.
So can I say if India wins Lords, तो 3-2 India का होगा? दोनों लोग, आप दोनों का prediction उल्टा होने वाला है.
अपन, we have gone one test at a time. No, there is no hurry. This is not declaring a target. We also want 600.
No, that's why I said if India wins Lords.
If India wins Lords, we'll talk about it in the 4th test review. 100% sure.
Exactly. Let's go session by session, yaar. Come on.
So before we end the stream, last hot take question for you both. I know the answer, but I still try to put my again. You will say, "अरे बाद में देखेंगे." Do you think Shubman Gill, the captain, has arrived? Or it's too early.
Too early to judge.
But was he better than the first test match?
I find
ये तो बोल सकते हो. No, second test, दो test. See, we have both.
Still, we have seen enough captains captain for 4-5 seasons in IPL, and yet we don't know how they captain. So
exactly, huh?
Yeah. But do you think he made things better? Like, I'm saying it was individual brilliance, right? I remember we spoke about it after the first test. It's still for me Akashdeep's individual brilliance, Gill's individual brilliance, and 1 or 2 ka saath mein, right? So again, I just said I just feel. Do you think? And also one more stats I read. I don't know how true it is, but I kind of checked with ChatGPT also. Apparently, India has done better without Bumrah in the test matches. So average the percentage of wins are better when Bumrah is not playing, or whenever he's not played, because there's so much emphasis on Bumrah. Someone had put up a stats and people cross-verified, and the amount of, especially outside India, the amount of test matches we have won percentage when Bumrah is played and when Bumrah is not played. I had taken the screenshot, but लेके नहीं आया आज में. So I personally feel Bumrah is a plus. So do you think Akashdeep is ready for the next step? I know again you will say too early, but it's my
next step.
Question पूछ मेरा problem क्या है?
No, of course. Yeah. But what do you mean by next step? See, personally, Siraj Bumrah very sure, right? Shami tha unke saath dono. Now, do we see the third seamer Akash has credibly made his space, or it still can change anytime? I wouldn't say he can be the next India spearhead. I'm pushing it too much. But third spot, jo abhi Shami ke baad khali hai, you think Akash has made it his own, or you still not sure about it? दोनों आंसर कर सकते. Yeah, मैं तो बोलूँगा कि at least India's best option with the new ball at this point of time for a non-Bumrah bowler, it is Akashdeep. And I had this thought even in Australia, but he did not get enough games. Baki ready for the permanent role, I don't know, but at least for England, I think Akashdeep should be a new ball bowler, and there should be no doubts about it.
I second that. For now, Akashdeep, I think he has to play in the team. And also, जो आपने Bumrah के बारे में बोला, I'm not too sure what people are talking about. With Bumrah in Sena countries, India have played 32 games. They have won 10 and they have lost 18. So अब इसमें क्या है? Because they have played so many games with Bumrah, the percentage is bound to come down. और अब बुमराह जो मैच नहीं खेला है, एक मेरे को गाबा याद आ रहा है, in which I think he did not play, एक मेरे को ये अभी का मैच याद आ रहा है. तो अब मान लो कि 2 मैच और नहीं खेला है, so out of 4 they have won 2, and that's why the percentage might be higher. So you have to view this data in the right context, and if क्या इसका क्या बोले, अब बुमराह के ऊपर ऐसे सवाल उठ रहे हैं तो फिर अब इस देश का क्या होगा? नहीं, I'm not saying it to him. I'm talking about the guy who posted this up. What's going on?
So no, it is one of the handles called Dinda's Academy. It's very popular troll account. But then again, I just wanted you also to mention it, because if I'm going to tell both, it doesn't make sense. No, that more because they have played more with Bumrah, by default the average, niche aane wala tha, doesn't means context, right? Great. I hope India wins lots. I'm excited.
इसमें हॉट टेक क्या था?
क्या था?
हाँ, ये तो सब नॉर्मल था. हॉट टेक अभी हम करते हैं, काम करते हैं.
Shubman Gill being Shubman Gill has arrived.
एक सेकंड, तुम बाद में कट करते हो. सिराज जब विकेट लेता
नहीं है, आपका कट आ गया था क्रिकेट का, किसी और का, तो मैं बोला वो भी कट कर दे, मैं भी कट कर दे, क्या फायदा?
स्क्रीन रिकॉर्ड करके मैं खुद. So give me your highest run scorer, your player of the match, your best bowler, and a surprise performer. 4.
Okay, Sparsh, you.
ना. You first.
क्या बोला? highest run scorer बोला ना?
Highest run scorer, most wickets, player of the match,
okay,
and surprise performer.
Surprise performer. ठीक है. Highest runs. Most I think most wickets will be Bumrah if he plays, and surprise player for me will be, ये मुश्किल है. I'll take the he doesn't play it well also. I think surprise player maybe Ollie Pope if he plays. Okay, and highest run scorer, I think I'll go with Gill, because that number 4 position for me is कोई भी वहां पे आया ना, जो advantage है वहां पे. I'm not taking away his talent, but जो advantage है ना, सचिन ने भी फायदा उठाया, कोहली ने भी फायदा उठाया, बहुत सारे लोगों ने फायदा उठाया उसका. So I still feel highest run scorer वही रहेगा. और क्या था, एक और था player of the match. ये if कोई जीतता है उसके हिसाब से बोल सकते हैं क्या कि if England
I genuinely feel this Lords might have a player of the match in a losing cause. Who knows? थोड़ी यार बात.
ओहो, ये आया ना हॉट टेक.
I feel I don't think India will win the match, so player of the match will be Chris Wokes.
One away. ठीक है. Ismail भाई आ जाओ.
Most runs.
लिख रहा हूँ मैं. हाँ,
लिखो. अरे वीडियो पे
वही तो. And you can't even cut it. It's live. But there. Most runs, Joe Root. 2 मैच हो गए, उसका बल्ला अभी तक चला नहीं है. Joe Root. I'm going for most runs. Most wickets, Bumrah. Surprise performer, I am not too sure. I might go with Zach Crawley. Ollie Pope मुझे लग नहीं रहा है. I think I'll go with Zach Crawley. और एक और क्या था? Player of the match ना?
Player of the match.
Player of the match. Player of the match. Bumrah.
बढ़िया. तो मेरे 2 most runs, Joe Root. He'll also get player of the match. Maybe in a losing cause, I hope. But नहीं हुआ तो भी ठीक है. Most wickets, I feel Chris Wokes could finally have a good game. Because Lords मेरे को generally जरा डर लगता है Root और Wokes से, so that is why that. And surprise performer for me will be Jadeja with the ball.
Oh wow!
So इसी बात पे, thank you for joining, and it was a great chat. And actually, it was not. Today was like there was stories, there was multiple scenarios. I think we could have gone on and on for another 15-20 minutes. Thank you guys for joining. And please, whoever watches this later or who's watching now, please like the stream. Please subscribe to the channel. Please follow them on their social handles. If you're already following, great. Please keep and try to be professional, try to be civil. If you're gonna troll, Nikhil sir block kar denge. So I'll see you guys next week. See you guys. Bye.
I just want to
बोल जल्दी.
खत्म हो रहा है क्या? हाँ, मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि यशस्वी जायसवाल को तो अब स्लिप से ही हटा दिया है. मोस्ट कैचेस कहाँ से आएंगे?
भाई
चलो, थैंक यू.
चलो guys, have
तुमको
fun.
बोल
See
रहे
you.
थे, तुमको बोले थे ट्रोल मत करो, ब्लॉक हो जाओगे.
नहीं, he said I can do it civil. हाँ, चलो, बाय बाय बाय.
Bye bye bye.